Good morning, I'm Wendy Burke and this is the CBC Morning Report for Tuesday, September 14th. In our top story, new information from the Pan American Health Organization is suggesting that the new Mu variant of COVID-19 may have been in the Caribbean region for at least 3 months. Prime Minister Mia Motley made the announcement yesterday during a media conference that gave updates on the COVID situation in Barbados.
CARFA would have advised us this morning that Mu is, they were seeing a virus that they could not initially identify at first. And of course, once PAHO came out and said that it was Mu, that in truth and in fact, it has been in the region since June. So, and we may well have it in Barbados. We just don't have the confirmation yet. So I want Jeffrey's answer to be contextualized, because against the backdrop of which CARFA spoke this morning, when they meet with the labs, they may well find now that where you saw unidentified, and the reports would say unidentified, the assumption was that it was Delta all along. But they may well have to refine those assertions, so we may well have it. We don't know.
Meanwhile, Director of Medical Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Clyde Cave, said there have been no more cases of Miss C on the island. While the numbers in children are rising, chances of it recurring are next to none.
Because it is so rare, we would not expect to see it. Even in some of the other Caribbean islands where they are seeing or identifying it, the numbers are extremely small. Miss C is a serious complication, but exceedingly rare.
In speaking to Morning Report, the issue of long COVID in children was also raised.
Not a lot of that is being described. Children generally bounce back faster than adults. That certainly was experienced with dengue and chikungunya, where a lot of the adults were walking bent over and the children were back to playing sports and their usual activities as soon as they found better. So no, it has not been seen. It's not something we would anticipate, but obviously our monitoring systems will pick that up if it seems to be something that's going to emerge, but it would be unlikely, I would guess.
Dr. Cave was asked about controlling the spread of COVID-19 within a nursery and kindergarten setting and how long they could be kept in mask.
Very good question there. And I think our experience is showing that the outbreaks oftentimes in these nurseries, and we know it is going to happen. It is a risk we are taking. It's a qualified risk, but it's not so much the children, it's the adults. What I mean by that is the parents may be aware of someone in the household who is not 100%, and for convenience or necessity, say, that's Sahara dust, and the baby goes into nursery. If there's anyone in the immediate environment who's feeling unwell, that child should not be sent into a group of other children because they may be an asymptomatic carrier. So that's new. If a child is unwell, certainly they should not go. And if they're unwell, they're going to stay out of nursery for a longer period than before. It used to be the fever was gone and they were back in daycare the next day. In our new normal, that would not be responsible behavior. The other thing is that the adults in daycare, they too may be asymptomatic carriers and bringing the virus into the environment from the society. Once the variant is in the society, which we know it is, it can spread anywhere, and nursery schools are not immune. So I think we each have to ask ourselves every morning and balance good intentions of feeling necessary in the job you're doing, looking out for children, or being necessary in doing your own job, so a child has to go to daycare, whether or not there is any increased possibility. And if there's an increased possibility to protect that nursery and the other children, we have to stay away.
Next on CBC Morning Report, updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. Welcome back to the Morning Report. The ongoing community vaccination initiative, COVID-19, has been going so well that the number of sites will be increased going forward. Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley made the revelation during the media conference yesterday.
Over the course of the last few days, I think Barbadians would have seen the tremendous success that we are having with the community vaccination program. In fact, yesterday I was deeply touched by the fact that even though the rain was falling, people just pulled out their umbrellas and remained because they were adamant that they wanted to be vaccinated before leaving the particular site. And as I moved around, the message was very, very clear. As a result, we've asked the officials to increase the number of community vaccination sites per day from 2 to 5 to 6 and to reduce the number of mainstream ones correspondingly. I'm also meeting this evening with the public health nurses in order to be able to get a better grip with what and how we deliver and when we deliver, and I look forward to that meeting this evening.
The Prime Minister has also disclosed that some of the Cuban nurses who've been working alongside local healthcare personnel fighting the COVID-19 pandemic over the past year will be returning home to take a break soon. However, she says replacement nurses will be coming from a sister Caribbean island.
We will lose some of the nurses next week, going back on holiday. They have been here for a year and they're due for vacation, and we will have some come in to replace them. I'm also in discussions with the President of Ghana with respect to additional nurses. And at the CARICOM level, I think we've all agreed, and I'm sure that the chair of CARICOM will be speaking to the region later, but we've all agreed for deeper cooperation where possible, particularly given the fact that many, all of us effectively, are facing challenges with the COVID variant as we go forward.
There's 78 new cases of COVID-19 in Barbados. They were from around 1,328 tests conducted on Sunday. Of these new cases, 22 people are under the age of 18 and 56 are 18 and older. With those new positives, there are now 738 people in isolation. Meanwhile, under the national vaccination program for COVID-19, 120,863 first doses have been administered. 96,392 people are fully vaccinated. The Jamaica government is being asked to rethink the current COVID-19 lockdown in that country. It's coming from within the business sector. This report from TVJ.
Small and medium-sized businesses have been significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And since the implementation of no movement days 4 weeks ago, coupled with the nightly curfews, growing frustration in the business community. President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, John Mahfood, says the current measures are bad for business. It's why he's appealing to the government to rethink them. The current measures allow businesses to operate 3.5 days per week, as they are forced to close at 12 midday on Fridays.
We don't believe that it has had a significant impact on bringing down the rate of infections. I think, the very narrow window for people to shop of 3.5 days, but 3.5 days when a lot of people are or working is not the best solution. We don't think that a Friday half-day closure is the best solution. And so it has to be rethought, because part of what we think is happening is that the condensing of the number of working hours is also causing problems in terms of congestion in supermarkets, congestion in public transport.
Executive Director at the Tourism Enhancement Fund, Dr. Kerry Wallace, agrees, adding that large businesses are also feeling the pinch from the measures.
When you had the CDC and the UK ratings change with respect to Jamaica's safety levels, charter flights were stopped right away, bookings were cancelled and so on. So a lot of persons were affected adversely because of that imbalance that was caused in the last month or so.
However, Dr. Wallace says a balance between lives and livelihoods is critical in keeping the country afloat.
Government therefore has to keep certain industries open, at least at minimum, to earn enough to pay the staff to make sure they can keep people alive. So it really is a balance that is needed. It can't just be one, lock on the whole country and cut off the borders. And, we have to really be sensible and think of the balance that we have to have. Otherwise, we get into further chaos.
Mr. Mahfood and Dr. Wallace were speaking on Power 106's morning agenda on Monday morning.
And staying in Jamaica, thousands of students received their first dose of the Pfizer vaccine recently as that country prepares for the new school term.
Efforts continue to ramp up inoculation among students ahead of the expected start of face-to-face classes for high school students come October. And in St. Catherine, the take-up thus far has been good. The Ministry of Health has given priority to children 12 years and older for inoculation with the Pfizer vaccine. Speaking at the latest St. Catherine Municipal Corporation meeting, Chief Public Health Inspector for the parish, Grayson Hutchinson, said approximately 4,958 students between ages 12 and 18 years have received their first dose of the jab.
The breakdown of school children receiving the vaccine is as follows. Age 12 years, number vaccinated, 670. 13 years, number vaccinated, 695. 14 years, number vaccinated, 836.
Most of the students inoculated are 15 years old, with a total of 975 receiving the jab in the parish.
16 years, number vaccinated, 849. 17 years, number vaccinated, 579. 18 years, number vaccinated, 353.
Mr. Hutchinson is hoping more students will get inoculated as several vaccination drives are scheduled for the parish this week.
New York City's classrooms reopened yesterday to roughly 1 million children, most of whom were returning for the first time since the United States' largest school system closed in March 2020. While the city reopened schools last fall for part-time learning, the vast majority of students chose to keep learning remotely. However, with no remote option now available to almost all parents, classrooms will be full for the first time in a year and a half.
All staff and students are required to wear masks, and while there's no vaccine rule for children, jabs will be required to take part in some sports and activities. Teachers must be vaccinated or face losing their jobs. The city's also ended remote working for around 300,000 employees who must be vaccinated or undergo weekly testing.
A research centre has been created in England to prevent, prepare for and respond to any future pandemics. Liverpool was chosen as the location for the Pandemic Institute, as it was an area that helped shape national policy during the coronavirus pandemic when it hosted the UK's first mass testing programme in November 2020.
The bacteria in this dish can kill. Streptococcus pneumonia is a major cause of chronic lung conditions. Scientists are trying to understand how our immune systems respond to infection, with the findings helping our knowledge of other respiratory illnesses such as COVID-19. Also in the lab, ongoing trials of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. This a small corner of the world's first end-to-end pandemic institute, aimed at helping the world prevent, prepare and respond to the worst.
Someone that I know said once, you don't build a fire brigade after the fire has started. And that's what we're trying to do here. We really need to develop new platforms and models so when actually we get the next virus coming through, we very rapidly can develop vaccines and drugs to tackle that.
There's a huge breadth of clinical, academic and data-driven expertise here. The pandemic revealed huge cracks in our ability to deal with a global outbreak. Time now to strengthen our defences against what could come next.
In another part of the city, the Pandemic Institute's new gleaming headquarters. The project's the brainchild of Professor Matthew Bayliss.
Whenever something is decided about a pandemic, it would have been better to have decided it earlier. And speed really is of the essence. And I think in some cases, there were steps that we've taken in this country which, in retrospect, would have been better to have taken earlier.
The test can be easily used without the need of additional equipment.
Underpinning efforts, a $14 million donation from Innova Medical Group. The US startup quickly became the world's largest supplier of rapid COVID-19 tests, making billions of dollars in government contracts in the process.
We feel that there needs to be a better cohesive response globally to how our economies, countries, and continents respond to the pandemic. We need to continue to make investments into the pandemic research, not only here in Liverpool, but globally at other institutions, which will be a collaborative effort so that we can get other countries and other communities involved.
The Institute will be under scrutiny to ensure work carried out here benefits poorer countries too.
We need to act as a global community and share resources, because in a global situation, you are not dealing with the problem as a whole if you confine them to nations. As long as there's mobility across countries, the problem will not, come to an end.
The pandemic's turbocharged innovation. With scientific research now released in torrents, there's too much at stake to stand still. No room for complacency.
Time for a preview of what's coming up on Morning Barbados. And for that, we welcome Pearson Bowen. Good morning, Pearson.
Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, everyone. When you join me here at 6:30 for Morning Barbados, we will hear today from the First Secretary in the Embassy of Japan in Barbados about the open and call for applications for the 2022 Japan Exchange and Training Program. What is that about? How are Barbadians going to be availing themselves of that opportunity? We'll hear more when we are joined then. In a few days, the Caribbean HR Forum will kick off. We want to find out a little bit more about that, because with the ever-changing landscape on employment in the region, what are some of the benefits from that particular forum? And if you're in the road for looking at your retirement and you're thinking, what kind of house am I going to live in and at retirement? We want to look at some of the things you need to avoid when making those decisions in our real estate segment. Just a little bit of what you can expect when you join me here at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. It is back to you, Wendy.
Thanks, Pearson. We'll see you at the bottom of the hour. We'll take another break and return with more news. Veteran journalist David Ellis has been introduced as the island's first national COVID-19 public advisor. Mr. Ellis says agreeing to take up the role was a very difficult decision, but the current state of affairs in the country as it relates to COVID-19 was the major deciding factor. He gave a sense of the kind of approach he would be using to help improve the flow, quality, and tone of information going out to the public.
We're not here to beat you about your head. We're not here to blame you, but to encourage those of you who are hesitant and uncertain that we want to work with you towards the goal of trying to minimize the damage that can be done by COVID. And that I see as a critical part of my remit, to reach out to various groups in this country, to hear from you, to get your ideas, to correct the things that you believe are wrong. I know that there's been a lot of discussion about the flow of information. And therefore, I want to work not only with you, but with the organs of government in trying to get the things that we consider to be wrong, right, and those that have been right, to improve upon them.
Land has been allocated to some of the farmers in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security's Farmers Empowerment and Enfranchisement Drive. The recipients say they continue to be undaunted despite some of the challenges they're facing in the sector. CBC's Trevor Thorpe has more.
The lack of water is the only real concern of farmers of the Farmers Enfranchisement and Empowerment Drive program in St. Lucie. However, new farmer Ron Matthews of Montpoyer says he will continue to try under the conditions.
So far, got some beet sketching, the zucchini growing up lovely, yams, eddos, and some pumpkin, green peas, and sorrel. That's about it.
Some of the farmers have gone to the Barbados Water Authority for the precious commodity to ease their individual positions. But for the new farmers, Matthew says it is a challenge.
I would love to do it, but I can't afford to do it at the moment because, trying to get the ground started out, that's money. So you got to try and spend your money wisely. So that's my prayers goes up to the Lord. Hopefully a rain come in between. I will do my hard work and bring what water I can at the moment.
But he's optimistic about the future for the BADMC's feed farmers at Montpoyer.
It's a great thing the government has implemented and give anyone, even if you're foreign or local, it's a good opportunity, a good chance that the government is giving us to, work for yourself, own your own business. And yeah, that's about it. And anyone who wants to get into it, I will advise them, get into it, even if they don't have 100% on agriculture, knowing agriculture, and get into it.
Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
The Caribbean Policy Development Center has made a call for a better debt deal for developing countries. Addressing the issue of debt and vulnerability to small island developing states to the Trade and Development Board of the United Nations Council on Trade and Development, CPDC echoed the assertions made by Prime Minister Mia Mottley, namely for international financial institutions to provide concessionary and grant terms and to sit to deal with both the coronavirus pandemic as well as climate change vulnerabilities. CPDC chairperson Cozal Peters says they share Prime Minister Mottley's view that immediate global action is needed to resolve sovereign debt challenges. Donors have pledged more than $1 billion to help Afghanistan, where poverty and hunger have spiraled since the Taliban took power and foreign aid has dried up, raising the specter of mass exodus. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, speaking during a donor conference in Geneva yesterday, said it was impossible to say how much of the money had been promised in response to an emergency UN appeal for $606 million to meet the most pressing needs of the country.
The donations followed a plea for help from the UN, saying Afghans were in urgent need of a lifeline. Its target was at least $600 million to avoid what it calls a humanitarian crisis. Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he's concerned about the collapse of the entire country. Many are at risk of running out of food by the end of the month as winter approaches. Our diplomatic editor James Bays is at the conference in Geneva.
The United Nations is still seriously concerned about the situation in Afghanistan. Yes, the Secretary-General said he's been very pleased by the response of the international community. He came here to Geneva for this flash appeal, saying that he wanted $606 million for the next 4 months in Afghanistan in new money. Well, we know that lots of money has been pledged. What the UN's trying to work out is whether some of that money is money that had already been pledged by nations or whether it is that new money. But they are, I think, genuinely pleased by the response from the international community. But the Secretary-General, when I asked him about the possibility of a complete economic collapse in Afghanistan, said that was still a serious possibility.
The financial system for the present moment is extremely limited in its capacity, which means that a number of basic economic functions cannot be delivered. And of course, for people, they had, as you know, the possibility to get a limited amount of cash, but with enormous difficulties. We are having also enormous difficulties. And I mean, an economy doesn't work without the blood. And the blood of the economy is cash. I mean, so, as I said, I think it is important to avoid the collapse of the economy, and I think the international community needs to find the ways to do it without violating international rules and norms.
He said the situation is extremely urgent, and that's because of the calendar. Obviously, winter is approaching in Afghanistan, and even if they get the money from the international community, and it seems they have got quite a bit more money, they've then got to get the humanitarian aid and get it distributed before winter sets in.
North Korea says it has carried out a series of successful tests of a new long-range cruise missile over the weekend, as the country continues to expand its military capabilities amid stalled nuclear talks with the United States.
Photos released by North Korea's state-run media reportedly show a test that took place over the weekend of a new long-range cruise missile. It's said to have flown 1,500 kilometers and hit targets in North Korea's territorial waters, and it's enough to make its neighbors worry.
Resumption of nuclear missile activities clearly shows that it is urgent to have engagement and dialogue with North Korea to find a fundamental solution to such problems.
If it's true that North Korea fired a missile with a range of 1,500 kilometers, it's threatening the peace and safety of Japan and its surrounding region. We are highly concerned.
In sports, West Indies women have now lost for the third time in a row against South Africa women, as the visitors have taken an unassailable 3-0 lead in their 5-match series in Antigua. They defeated Windies women by 8 wickets in the third match last evening and sent into bat at the Coolidge Cricket Ground. Windies women were bowled out for 157 in 48.4 overs. Deandra Doughton with 71 and Rashada Williams with 37 were the only batters to score in double figures. Doughton's half-century included 6 fours and a 6. Medium pacer Shabnin Ismail took 3 for 31. In reply, South Africa women raced to 158 for 2 in 36.4 overs, led by an unbeaten 78 from Lizelle Lee and 53 from Laurel Wolvart. And now for a look at our weather today. Looking at the system right now, outside stands at 28.3 degrees Celsius. But it feels like it's 35 degrees Celsius with the humidity at 77 barometric. The barometric pressure 1013.2 millibars. Winds from the east-southeast at 13 kilometers per hour. And a look at our tides. Low tide will be at 3:22 p.m. The first high tide at 10:43 a.m. and a second high tide at 9:44 p.m. And for a look at the seas, it will be moderate in open water with swells ranging from 0.5 to 1 meters and steady. The forecast for today, a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. And tonight you can expect a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. In the Lesser Antilles today, mostly cloudy with breaks of sunshine and scattered light to moderate showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. And tonight in the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with some scattered light showers. And for a look at our international cities now. And that's been today's morning report. Our next newscast on TV8 will be Newsday at noon. We now join Pearson Booing for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning.
Indeed, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday, the 14th of September 2021. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you in Barbados, watching us on our TV screens via MCTV as well. Or if you're watching us on our YouTube channel or our Facebook pages, grateful for your company. Today, we'll be hearing a little bit more about how the St. James Parish Independence Committee will be engaging with those of you in St. James of a week of activities that start on Wednesday. So look out for that opportunity. Plus, we'll meet the man behind Spirit-Led Studios, who says his mission is to raise the level of excellence that you have within you. But let's get started by hearing a little bit more about the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. So we're happy to be joined this morning by the First Secretary with the Embassy of Japan in Barbados, Kikoko Sakai. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The program is called the JET program, or the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. What is that about?
Yes, Japan Exchange and Teaching Program is a kind of exchange program for teachers, and the embassy encourages motivated Barbadians to join the program as assistant language teachers in public schools in Japan. The purpose of JET program is to facilitate internationalization of Japan by promoting mutual understanding between the people of Japan and other countries.
So here it is, you're offering this opportunity. So what are the opportunities available for Barbadians, though, to engage with this program? Show us the different categories in which we can be a part.
Yes. For the Barbadian, this program is stand for the focus on the assistant language teachers, or ALTs. ALTs assist in classes of English taught by Japanese teachers. Especially, ALTs are expected to support the improvement of the oral communication of Japanese students. ALTs also help the Japanese teachers for preparation of teaching materials, so by means of the team teaching. And also, ALT are involved in the extracurricular programs in the schools, such as sports, culture, school events, etc. So therefore, there are windows of opportunity to explore Barbadian in the new horizon in Japan, in presenting Asian cultures.
What are the qualifications then required for anyone who wants to apply for the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program?
Yes, first of all, the citizens of Barbados, so the Bajans are encouraged to apply this program in position of bachelor's degree or higher degree. And also excellent English language skills to teach a Japanese student. And also, of course, it is most important, high motivation and responsibility in teaching in Japan, teaching English in Japan.
For teaching of English in Japan. Now, the program has been going on for about 35 years now. So how have Barbadians over the years been responding to it?
Yes, the first version has been dispatched in 2002. So that is why this year's application will be the 20 years anniversary. And up to now, 44 participants from Barbados have taken a part in this JET program, and one of whom participated twice, and five participants are waiting dispatching expectedly this November to December. And about half of the total participants are currently working in Japan, and including 13 participants are ongoing program. And also the rest of the Barbadians who are working in Japan after completing the JET program, especially for the teaching English in the private or private schools or university, etc.
So there are long-term advantages to joining the program. You get to teach, yes, but there's opportunity for you to stay on and do some other forms of employment there in Japan as well. So for anyone applying today, how long is that contract period?
Yes, initially for the period of 1 year, but also there is an opportunity for the reappointment 2 times more. So if every year, so that means 3 years. And also the extraordinary high standard participants may be reappointed another or additional 2 more times. So that means in total 5 years.
Total 5 years. At the end of each year, your contract can be renewed for an additional year, and it could go up to about 5 years. This is great. So when can we begin to apply, and when do applications close?
Yes, Embassy of Japan in Barbados is open the application of the motivated Barbadian now, and also that this application will be closed on 2nd of December and at 1 p.m. So we are encourage the motivated Barbadian and with high responsibility to work at as an assistant language teacher in Japan.
This is great. So where can folks go now to apply to be a part of the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program?
And the embassy will recommend to the JET program, I mean the Barbadian candidate, and then the Japanese organization will allocate it to the Japanese local government. So the place will be all over Japan. And then they are working at the local schools, I mean public schools. It will be from the primary or secondary public schools.
Now, Barbadians love to travel. We love to explore different cultures and different dishes for sure. So this is a great opportunity for anyone in Barbados who wants to contribute to education in Japan, who wants to contribute to the cross-cultural exchange as well, to be able to apply. And to do so, you have until the 2nd of December at 1 p.m. to get application in. You can always contact the Embassy of Japan on the island to get more information about this. So tell me a little bit about Japan, because we're also fascinated. We saw the Olympic Games, which came off beautifully, but we got all excited about Japan. Tell us a little bit more about Japan.
Yes, Japan, yeah, we have a long history, and also that we share the same issues in Barbados because Japan also the island country. So that is why we have lots of earthquakes, hurricanes, and flood such as natural disasters. So that is why the Bajans and the Japanese, that to discuss with the common problem or common issues in using the English. So that is why that we have a similarity between the Japan and the Barbados. And also the Japan is, we have a long distance, also the time difference is 13 hours. But also, that we have in the difference that we share the cultures and also the understanding among the people and so on. It would be great. And for the young people, they are also fascinated for the Japanese culture, such as animation and so on. But not only those cultures, but also that we have a lot of traditional cultures, such as martial arts or traditional architectures and so on. And also some Japanese cultural heritage, such as no, it's kind of traditional theater and so on. So that is why Bajans are encouraged to explore themselves to the Japanese culture's new horizons in Japan.
I love it. New horizons in Japan, starting today, and you have some time, folks, to get your thoughts together and to find out a little bit more about how you can apply. And I want to show folks how that works indeed. So if you can show folks what the application form looks like. Remember, this is what it looks like. Applicants must submit these documents that you see on the screen, and all of this you can get from the Embassy of Japan in Barbados. You can get those documents by hand, and if delivered by hand by 1 p.m. on the 2nd of December. And it's a very simple process. And as Dr. Kikoko would have said to you, it is an opportunity for you to explore the culture of Japan and for Japanese to learn more about our culture as well. So there's a cross exchange, there's a fertilization that is going to be rich for each of us. Dr. Kikoko Sakai, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope that many people log in and that they apply to be a part of this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this great opportunity, and looking forward to to many applications from motivated Barbadian.
You're very welcome. Dr. Kikoko Sakai, who is the first secretary with the Embassy of Japan here in Barbados, encouraging all of you to sign up and apply for the opportunity to be a part of the 2022 Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. It's a one-year agreement, but it can be renewed at the end of every year, up to about 5 years. Opportunities abound all over this world. Let's grab them. We're going to take a break right here, and we are back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 15 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock as we take a look at the Caribbean's second human resource summit, so to speak. But certainly it's an opportunity as a conference kicks off this week for us to be able to check in to see how it's going. Francis Wade is the founder of Carib HR Forum, and he joins us now. Good morning to you.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fine. From here in cool Jamaica.
Hey, cool Jamaica. We are very hot Barbados at the moment. Now, this is the second year of this HR conference, HR forum. Tell us a little bit about it. I mean, this is the second. Tell us how did the first go?
Sure. Well, the first was a gathering of some 1,350 HR professionals from around the region. We had about 75 speakers, and we got together for 3 days last September, spurred on by COVID, to do something different and to take advantage of the technology. Because as you know, we have lots of HR professionals in the region, some 23,000 on LinkedIn alone, but we're separated by water, by high costs of travel. So we never actually get together to meet as a community. So this is the first time the community was ever coming together at a scale, at a level,
yes,
at which we could enjoy each other at, hundreds of us at the same time.
What's the objective here, though? What are you hoping to achieve?
Well, last year we focused on HR putting itself first in terms of its development, because in most companies, HR and training budgets have been cut. But this year we focused on carving out a new Caribbean workspace, which is all about HR taking the lead in forming brand new companies, cultures, brand new ways of doing business, ways of treating employees, remote versus on-site work, ways of communicating online, all new because of COVID. And at some point in the next 18 months, companies are going to transition back, or let's say forward, into some new normal, and HR needs to take a leadership position in making that happen.
And so you're pulling together minds and experiences from across the region to lend to shaping the way forward as well. So talk to us a little bit about who are some of the faces and voices and experiences that we'll be able to enjoy in this upcoming series.
Sure. In our lineup, we have speakers all the way from Bermuda to Suriname, and all English-speaking points in between, and a few Dutch. And our keynote speakers include Mariano Brown, who, as you know, was a president of a couple of banks here in Barbados, or there in Barbados. He was also a minister of government in Trinidad, and he actually has Bajan roots for those who know him. But he's one of our keynote speakers. Another keynote speaker is Audrey Hinchcliffe. She's a business owner here in Jamaica. She's, I think, 83 years old, and she's a powerhouse.
Wow.
Who started her own company, 3,000 employees, and has been benefiting from COVID because she has a janitorial company. So those are a couple of our two main speakers. But we have actually, this year, 63 speakers, panelists, keynotes, and a host of talent that's put time and effort together. They've sacrificed a great deal to be able to put together this conference and make their contribution.
I'm trying to understand, because as you were speaking, we were sharing with folks as well the images of the different places. I'm seeing different flags, which almost suggests to me that each territory you saw would have its own conference in some way. Is that the way am I interpreting it correctly? That's
how it used to happen in the past, right? So each territory has had conferences in the past. So HERMAB, which is one of our partners, the HR Management Association of Barbados, would typically have its own conference. And I've spoken at that conference a couple of times, and it would usually attract mostly folks from Barbados or nearby islands. The result of HERMAD, HERMAT, BSHRM in Bahamas, there's one in Bermuda, one in Cayman, is that they were all separate and pretty small in scale and pretty expensive, as you could imagine.
Yes.
We actually have free registration, which sets us apart. Folks from anywhere in the region can join us without paying a penny. And the way we're able to do that is because we have a host of sponsors, and we have some of our members, some of our attendees also purchase what's called an all-access pass. So we've changed the paradigm a bit, allowed much greater participation, and it's bridging the gap. Technology is allowing us to bridge the gaps that used to separate the different conferences from each other.
So I'm looking at the schedule. You just moved it from me. I'm looking at the schedule there on the screen for just a moment. And so there's going to be one virtual conference. Everyone from anywhere can join this virtual conference on starting Thursday right through till Saturday, Sunday. Am I right?
For free.
For free. And so on Thursday, we'll be, just walk us through, because, you know, it feels almost like a classroom already. You know, you're going from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 in the afternoon. And so, but within there are dynamics that I think folks need to understand. There'll be demonstrations, there'll be opportunity for questions and answers. Talk us through a typical day in this virtual conference.
Sure. So someone would join and typically hear a keynote in the morning. And then throughout the day, they have the opportunity to do several things. One is that they can attend more live sessions. So they could attend live Q&As or live panels. The second is that they could download and listen to some of our speakers' pre-recorded presentations. And these are available 24 hours a day. So you could stay up for the entire 3 days and probably still not get through all the materials. If you take no sleep, you probably still wouldn't get through all of the 50, 60 hours of content that's already stored waiting for folks to listen to. And then the third thing they could do is to join what we call hands-on hall. So our live presentations are in presentation hall, and we have a demo interactive gaming hall called hands-on hall, where people can, like I said, play games, use interactives that companies have created to learn on the spot, learn by doing, and also see some software demos from some of our vendors.
The Caribbean employment space is challenged by a number of things. Contracts that are evolving, jobs that are closing out, and other new jobs are emerging. And so it's a very volatile moment for any HR professional. And so how do you see, what's your horizon? What's the future looking like for you from an HR perspective?
Well, to be honest, we'll always plan to do a virtual conference. So this is a permanent way of doing business, because it really is the only way to bring together HR professionals from across the region in this way, unless airfares all of a sudden drop to zero, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. So we've got to be using the technology to bring our best thinkers, bring our audience together, and the best way to do it is to have it be inexpensive. So the future is that this is no temporary stopgap measure. This is a permanently new way of doing business that's going to allow the best minds in the world to reach our Caribbean HR professionals hundreds at a time. So this is permanent.
You believe HR should be at the cusp of all of the change as well. Are you satisfied within the region that our HR professionals are appropriately able to be able to lead the change?
No. So most would agree that many HR professionals have taken a sort of a passive role in forming company culture. And the point of this conference is that because of COVID, there is a period of change must come. And that kind of period of change represents a unique opportunity that comes along once in a lifetime, definitely once in a career. There won't be another opportunity like this in our lifetime. So we're encouraging HR professionals to up-level their skills and lead the way, because many of the changes that need to be made are actually cultural. They have to do with learning, they have to do with upskilling, they have to do with changing the way work is done. And HR professionals are the ones who are the experts in this area. So you would go to the experts. I know some CEOs think they know better. They don't. But they should do more than consult their HR professional when it comes to designing the next 18 months. They should actually demand of their HR professionals that they lead the way and they get the tools, the mindset necessary to cause this transition to the new normal that we're talking about. It won't happen by accident. It's got to be designed, and we want to equip all of our attendees with all the tools that they need to lead in what will probably be the biggest shift in the last 100 years.
But you're also up against fear. There's concern by the people who you lead that they're becoming very, very fearful of their future. They're seeing things happening around them and somehow they cannot make sense of it. So how do you see HR helping its employees make sense of it?
There's a different kind of engagement that's emerging. You know, traditionally our Caribbean companies have been very top-down, where CEO would, or the managing director would come up with a bunch of stuff and then deploy it through HR. And HR would be a bit of the buffer between, you know, the most extreme leadership tendencies and the workforce. And HR would kind of soften things in between. we're advocating that HR, as I said, take the lead and actually shape the conversation with the CEO or managing director ahead of time to let him or her know what to expect, what can and cannot be done, and what the best way is to engage staff. Because the old ways of engaging staff, which was, as you know, looking over their shoulder and making sure they're actually doing the work.
Yes.
They're not working anymore. You can't do that in a COVID environment, in a remote working situation. Instead, you've got to engage staff. And HR, once again, are the best resource that companies have to get the training needed to engage staff in remote environments. So as a remote conference, we're pulling all the levers to engage our attendees, because our competition is not another conference overseas. Our competition is Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever drama is happening next door that is interrupting your work because you're working from home. Is your kid being sick? It's all of the things that distract us from doing the kind of work we need to do in this COVID era. That's what we're fighting against. And we designed the conference so that people have lots of options, lots of things they can do at different times, not just sit back and listen to a presentation, but they can actually go use software, they can go network, they can talk to people, because we have networking setups where they can use their camera to meet individuals, expand their network. So there's multiple things that they can do at any one time and not get bored and not get distracted.
Well, that's great. So it starts on the 16th, it runs until the 18th. It's a virtual conference. It's for everyone, or is it for everyone?
It's for anyone can come. Absolutely.
Okay.
Any and everyone.
And here it is on our
As
screen.
I said, once you get a free registration,
Yes.
virtualconf.caribbeanhrforum.com.
Right, and there it is on our screen, folks. Take a look and you see how easy it is for you to be able to register. Register very, very quickly because it starts in a day and 17 hours. And in registering, it's free, absolutely free. Register today to start your journey. Your registration provides you with access during the event to all pre-recorded and live sessions available each day. Plus, you'll be able to network freely with professionals just like you from around the region, chatting with them online via text and video. So it's a great, rich opportunity. Apply today. Registration is free. It's open to anyone. You do not necessarily have to be an HR professional. You do not necessarily have to be the managing director or chief executive officer. You could be just a supervisor or just a regular employee. But you learn and you engage as you go as well. Mr. Wade, Francis Wade, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And most of all, thank you for putting on this virtual conference yet again. And I wish much success with it.
Thanks for having me. Take care. All the best.
Likewise. Francis Wade, who is the founder of Carib HR Forum. Remember, it starts on the 16th, runs until the 18th. You could be a part. We're taking a break here. When we come back, there's more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is 7 o'clock and it's time for the news. Once again, here is Wendy Burke.
Thank you, Pearson. The Pan American Health Organization is suggesting that the new Mu variant of COVID-19 may have been in the Caribbean region for at least 3 months. Prime Minister Mia Moore Motley made the announcement yesterday during a media conference.
CARFA would have advised us this morning that Mu is, they were seeing a virus that they could not initially identify at first. And of course, once PAHO came out and said that it was Mu, that in truth and in fact, it has been in the region since June. So, and we may well have it in Barbados. We just don't have the confirmation yet. So I want Jeffrey's answer to be contextualized, because against the backdrop of which CARFA spoke this morning, when they meet with the labs, they may well find now that where you saw unidentified, and the reports would say unidentified, the assumption was that it was Delta all along. But they may well have to refine those assertions, so we may well have it. We don't know.
Meanwhile, Director of Medical Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Clive Cade, said there have been no more cases of Miss C on the island. While the numbers in children are rising, chances of it recurring are next to none.
Because it is so rare, we would not expect to see it. Even in some of the other Caribbean islands where they are seeing or identifying it, the numbers are extremely small. Miss C is a serious complication, but exceedingly rare.
Land has been allocated to some of the farmers in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security's Farmers Empowerment and Enfranchisement Drive. CBC's Trevor Chor has more.
The lack of water is the only real concern of farmers of the Farmers Enfranchisement and Empowerment Drive program in St. Lucie. However, new farmer Ron Matthews of Montpoyer says he will continue to try under the conditions.
So far, got some beets catching, the zucchini growing up lovely, yams, eddos, and some pumpkin, green peas, and sorrel. That's about it.
Some of the farmers have gone to the Barbados Water Authority for the precious commodity to ease their individual positions. But for the new farmers, Matthew says it is a challenge.
I would love to do it, but I can't afford to do it at the moment. Because you know, trying to get the ground started out, that's money. So you gotta try and spend your money wisely. So that's my prayers goes up to the Lord. Hopefully a rain come in between. I will do my hard work and bring what water I can at the moment.
But he's optimistic about the future for the BADMC's feed farmers at Montpoyer.
It's a great thing the government has implemented and give anyone, even if you're foreign or local, it's a good opportunity, a good chance that the government is giving us to, work for yourself, own your own business. And yeah, that's about it. And anyone who wants to get into it, I will advise them, get into it, even if they don't have 100% on agriculture, knowing agriculture, and get into it.
Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
In sports, West Indies women have now lost for the third time in a row against South Africa women, as the visitors have taken an unassailable 3-0 lead in their 5-match series in Antigua. They defeated Windies women by 8 wickets in their third match last evening. Sent into bat at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, Windies women were bowled out for 157 in 48.4 overs. Deandra Dottin with 71 and Rashada Williams with 37 were the only batters to score in double figures. Dottin's half-century included 6 fours and a 6. Medium pacer Shadneeb Ismail took 3 for 31. In reply, South Africa women raced to 158 for 2 in 36.4 overs, led by an unbeaten 78 from Lizelle Lee and 53 from Laura Wolvart. Meanwhile, the Heroes CPL semi-finals are today at Warner Park in St. Kitts. At 10 a.m., it'll be Trinbago Knight Riders against the St. Lucia Kings. Then at 2:30 p.m., there'll be the Guyana Amazon Warriors against St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Both matches will be aired live on CBC TV8. And it's back to you, Pearson, for more Morning Barbados.
Wendy, thank you for the news update. Remember, folks, more news come your way at 12 noon in the CBC Newsday, and on radio. There's a broadcast coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. It's 5 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a break here, and when we're back with our Crumbs question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is now 6 minutes after 7 o'clock. It is now time for you to call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563 because I have a question for you. What is it? It's our crumbs question of the day. So 228-5562 or 228-5563 because here comes today's crumbs question of the day. It is, who were the two top performers in this year's Barbados Secondary Schools entrance exam, or what we call the 11 plus common entrance? So who were the two top performers in this year's 11 plus? 228-5562, a boy and a girl, 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now. So who were the two top performers in this year's 11 plus? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Let's see if you remember the names and whether or not you remember anything at all about them. So call me now on 228-5562 and tell me who are the two top performers in this year's Common Interest exam. A very good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Where are you watching us from?
St. Michael.
St. Michael. Where exactly in St. Michael are you?
Green
That
Hill,
you don't
St.
know.
Michael.
Pardon me?
Green Hill, St. Michael.
Dean Hill. Where is that? In
Green
relation to
Hill,
anywhere?
St. Michael.
Oh, Green Hill. Okay, madam. Thank you. Now, what's your answer?
The top boy was Jeremiah Brown, and the top girl was Elaine Bond.
Are you sticking to that?
Yes,
Are you sure?
quite sure. You can't trick me.
I am not trying to trick you. I just want to know if you're quite sure. What makes you
Yes, I
so
am.
what makes you so quite sure? Because I'm looking at my paper and I'm seeing something a little different. What makes you so sure?
Because I was following it, and I think I caught the names clearly.
Is this something you do? You catch names clearly and retain them?
Yes, please.
Really? So what was the name of the last guest I spoke to?
I only just tuned in, actually.
Don't bring that to
no,
me.
I'm serious. I only tuned
Okay.
in when the news started.
So what's the name of our pediatrician who we have usually on a Tuesday morning?
Gillian Birchwood. Dr. Gillian Birchwood, I'm sorry.
All right. I'm impressed. You're absolutely right. I'm impressed. Elena Bond and Jeremiah Brown, they are the top performers indeed in this year's Common Interest exam. Well done. What's your first name, ma'am?
Elaine.
Look at that, Elaine. Elaine, thank you so much. Stay on the phone. We'll take some other details from you because we're going to give to you today's prize in our crumbs question of the day. Elaine is absolutely right. Elena Bond and Jeremiah Brown were the top performers in this year's Common Interest exams. We're going to take a break and we're coming back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So it's 11 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Question for you. What would you do If one day while walking the road, you stumbled upon something you least expected to see, something that would shock your spirit. I want to show you something right now. I want to think for just a moment on that question. What would you do? Take a look at this. So there you are, going along merrily, your way, and then you looked across and you saw this. I know you're asking, wait, what's that? Said you're a normal bitch. That is what you would see. What would you do? Imagine that. Look at the length of the tail. Look at the size of the torso. What would you do if you saw this big iguana lizard just merrily going along its way across the green grass, and you are on the same road as it? It is within reach of you. What? What would you do? You know, I've heard some horror responses, some interesting responses. Some people would take off as though they were Flintstones and run through the air to get away from it. Others would just stand there in shock. But what would you do? Just what would you do if that was the sight you met while walking the road one day? That would be something else for me. I would shiver. I would stand still for just a moment and then take off, as we say in Barbados. And don't call me the big fatal man, because you would do the same thing too. So there you go. Is that what you would do? Let's meet our next guest this morning, who leads a spirit-led studio. His name is Shakil Stout. Good morning to you, Shakil.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm very well. Someone is messaging you. Did you hear it?
Yes,
you heard it. Yeah, you have it on WhatsApp web. That's all right, my friend. That's okay. Yeah, because the ears are pretty sharp. You are the owner and the founder of Spirit-Led Studios. Tell us about what you do in Spirit-Led Studios.
Well, basically, I do audio engineering. I do audio mixing, mastering. I record music. I edit audio. I also produce music for film and TV, and I also do what you call Foley and stuff like that. So it's a wide level of services that I contribute.
So, what is it, do you think, that makes your studio stand out from any other studio on the island?
Well, first of all, it's a Christian-based studio. I am somewhat the first, based on my research, I'm the only studio that offers music for TV and film based on my research. And I also offer what you call Foley again. So again, based on my research, I'm the only studio that is doing that in Barbados at this moment.
What is that F word you called? I didn't hear it clearly. Say it slowly for me.
It's called Foley. Foley.
Oh, Foley. What is Foley for all of us who have a clue? What's that about? What is Foley?
Basically, it is taking everyday sounds like what some people call you walking on gravel, or you a fluff on your shirt, you're touching your shirt. We take that and enhance it and re-record it and put it in the movie.
Ah, basically. So is it the sound effects?
Yeah, it's gonna let us sound effects.
So when you hear people's footsteps clop, 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 because their shoe heels are walking, that's because you've enhanced the sound of it.
Yeah, enhance the sound of it.
Ah, that's interesting. So how much work do you get from creating sound effects and music for radio, for television and film?
Well, for TV and film, I haven't got any much business as yet. I get the opportunity to do one that is in 2019 with a company called what's the name of it? It
doesn't matter, but you got the chance in 2019.
Yeah, I got the chance in 2019.
Do you, is it that you build the music, or what do you do as it relates to film and television? What do you do?
Well, what I do, I build the music from scratch. I see the idea, I see what people want, and I will just create what we call a theme for the particular scene, basically, right? Just to enhance the scene. So
So,
if you have, for example, if you have a sad scene or a happy scene, the music will contribute to that scene.
so would you be required to watch the action and then build your music to what you see, or do you just make music and they suddenly just put it in?
Well, firstly, I watch the scene. Yes, I will watch the scene, and then I will create the music to suit that scene. Or I can just, in some cases, I will just create something off the top of my head and send it to them and see if they like it or not, and they will tell me, all right, we can use this, or don't use that, or change this part, and make this more, enhanced, or what have you.
You know, we're trying to build a film industry here on the island, and certainly
Yeah.
there's a place for you, because you know what you're doing is part of what we experience when we watch films and we watch television. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of the experience. You want to hear that big crash because we want people to sit up for just a moment. That's what you do. Now, you said to us that you're also the only studio, as far as you know, on the island that's open and catering to Christian productions. And I know there are lots of Christian productions on the island at the moment. So how busy are you?
No, I mean, I'm not the only Christian studio. I say I'm only the only one, based on my research, that does music for film and TV. I know there are a lot of Christian based studios in Barbados.
Okay. So how busy are you, though, in creating content for Christians?
Well, as far as I can see now, I'm quite busy because since COVID, I've been almost at work 24/7. Right, I have a couple. I'm be shocked to have a couple artists coming in during this period. Thank God, coming in asking me to create some music for them, and even record their own music for them as well too. What I do as well too, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I edit my Pastor Paul Lee, I edit his sermons, and I put it on Life 97.5. We call it Discipleship Journey.
Okay.
Yeah. So I take his sermons, I edit his sermons, and then we cut it down to 15 minutes and put it on the radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Well, I don't want you marketing over here for me, but nevertheless, that's what, I forgive you, that's okay.
That's what I do, that's what I do.
Those are some of the services that you offer as well, apart from recording and making and helping to produce music for folks as well, some of our gospel artists as well. So who are some of the gospel artists who you would have worked with?
I've worked with a lady named Nisha Reed. Her name is Melinda Reed, that's her stage name, and then Joelle. I've another young lady named Mandisa Aline. There's another lady named Juliet. Basically, you could say I've produced for people that know coming out or people that have know coming into the industry. Basically, yeah.
How long have you been doing this now?
Right now, I've been in the business for 11 years since I left Barbados Community College, and then the business itself is 4 years now.
Congratulations on your business. So your skill sets were your skill sets honed at the community college, or is this something that you knew you always had a passion for?
Well, yes and no. Basically, I always had a passion for music, especially for music in TV and film. But going to BCC helped enhance that gift and talent, that skill. And then I went on to Audio Lab Studios, where I learned sound engineering, and that too combined BCC, and that is where I'm right now in terms of building my own brand now as well. So that actually helped me. Sorry.
So your studio is Spirit-Led Studio. Who came up with the name? I understand the concept, so who came up with the name?
Well, with the help of my mentor then, Henry Richards, because the name before was Not Tech Studios, but he came to me and said, Shaquille, well, people call me Shaq, so Shaq, look for something more, grounded in the word. So I went home, started thinking, and said, okay, what's a good name that can ground in the word, but still come under what I do. And then after doing some praying and reflecting, the name just came to me, Spirit-Led Studios. So I was like, this is actually a good name. So I did my research now, trying to figure out who. Praying to God, no one has the name yet, right?
Yes.
So then, I went to register the name, and that's how the name came about. So it was basically, what you would say,
Spirit led.
inspiration.
It was
Yeah,
spirit
spirit
led.
led. It was spirit led. Yeah, it was spirit led.
So how do you deal with, you're Christian, young man, and so
Yes,
your focus is amplifying the word of God and living out your talents to just bring honor and praise to Him. Now, if when it comes to film and video, however, you know, sometimes the movie, the message of the movie is not necessarily wholesome. Are you selective in that kind of way in terms of the movies that you would want to work with in providing music and sound?
Yeah, I'm very selective in terms of that as well. As I say, I haven't gotten as much content to work with as yet, but so far I have gotten Christian based or wholesome based content to work with so far.
And that'll be. I would want to join with you in encouraging other religious organizations and churches to really produce more video content. You know, don't wait for the secular world to be doing it, and then you say, well, there's a message in there about Jesus. No, you create your own content as well, because Shakil can help where that's concerned. And so I really want to encourage churches to consider doing that. It's so vital, so important. Now, so it's been 4 years that the business has been going, and so far so good?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, it has the ups and downs, you know, and every business has the ups and downs. But I've been going strong with the grace of God to see the growth and the expansion of the business. So there's no other way to thank God for this, because I mean I've saw many businesses either went failed or they had to close down due to the pandemic. Sorry to see that. But for me personally, I have seen a enhance, expansion, not expansion. I've seen myself excel, actually grow in this pandemic, basically.
Fantastic.
And it was shocking. It was shocking because I was in my mind. I was saying this because the nature of my business. I was looking to see a drop in business, but I ended up seeing an increase in business. So
spirit led.
Yeah, spirit led.
See, when you put your heart in the right place and into whose hands, then you see the returns. So for anyone watching today who want to contact your studio, how can they contact you?
Well, they can contact me via Facebook, Spirit Led Studios, on Facebook, Instagram as well. I have my own website, it's Spirit Life Studios. You can see it on the screen. Spirit Life Studios 0.wixsite.com/studio. I know it's long, but I will get that started out soon. And also you can contact me on my number is 231-8265.
Yes.
That's 231-8265.
All right. Shakil Stout. By the way, how many dogs do you have?
Dogs, I have one, which is at my mom right now. I had 8, but I have one now. I'm looking to get one of my own because the one I have belongs to my mom.
Okay. You guys
I love dogs.
It is very clear your dogs love you back. I can hear it as well. Shakil Stout, a pleasure meeting you this morning. The owner and founder of Spirit Led Studios. You can just use those words. Spirit Led Studios. Find him on social. He's all right there to be able to respond to everything that you're looking for. So Shakil, all the best going forward. Your heart is in the right place. Your head is also in the right place. And something tells me you're going to continue to be Spirit Led. Well done. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Shakil Stout is his name. 25 minutes after 7, we're coming back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 27.5 minutes after 7 o'clock, time for us to engage with the St. James Parish Independence Committee. Rhonda Brian Hudson, my friend, who is the project chairperson of St. James Parish Independence Committee, now joins us. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I am great. Good to see you again. How are you doing?
It is fantastic to see you when I see that you're keeping well and lively and healthy in the midst of it all.
Yeah, I'm trying. Thank you so much for recognizing that as well. But St. James Parish Independence Committee, there's a week of activities you guys are having on this week. And so let's talk a little bit about how it's been going thus far for you, because, you know, these times are not normal.
No, definitely not, Pearson. And the thing about it is not only a week we're celebrating, but we're celebrating the entire month, because the month of September is dedicated to St. James. Each parish has a month, and ours is September. I mean, Pearson, you talk about the fact that things are not normal, things have been changing. And of course, the PICs would also have experienced that as well, because we're not able to be out there as we normally would be with our community, engaging face to face, because now we have our COVID-19 protocols that we have to adhere to. But you know, even in the midst of that, Pearson, we still have our mandate, which is to connect with the community, to still drive community spirit, to keep persons interested in pushing our nation forward. And regardless to what situation or circumstance we find ourselves in, we still have to function. We still are Bajans, and we still are proud of who we are. And we have some fantastic young people across our island, across our 11 parishes, and in particular, St. James, you know, and that's what we want to highlight for the month of September.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Just maintaining the positive spirit as always. And so this week, starting Wednesday, I want to walk through it one by one. Tomorrow, Wednesday, there's an activity that you have on. Let's tell folks what's going on and how folks can engage with each day's activity.
Sure, wonderful. So our activities continue, as you say, throughout the month. And on Wednesday, we actually have a series. And that series is a showcase, entrepreneurial showcase. As I said, we've got to do things differently. And one thing we see happening now as a result of COVID is that we have a number of entrepreneurs coming forward, and there are various opportunities that present themselves. I just heard Shaquille talk about his business and how it's thriving, you know, the pandemic. And similarly in St. James, we have a myriad of entrepreneurs. And on this Wednesday, as part of our showcase, we have the opportunity to highlight 2 of those businesses, and we'll be doing this for the entire month, as well as offering different programs and series and workshops, and we'll get into that as we look at each particular day. So on Wednesday, as part of our showcase, we're going to be looking at Fran's Attic and Shanana's Crochet, and these are 2 young people who are out there doing it, and they've started their businesses from scratch, and we're going to be able to hear about what they're doing, you know, how their business has changed, how the ideas came about, and how they continue to thrive through this pandemic. So if you are interested, I mean, when we talk about Fran's Attic, she also has Fran's Beauty. So she's looking at clothing, that clothing to persons and jewelry and, you know, beauty. How do you take care of yourself? We know that our funds are limited, but it doesn't mean that, you know, we got to look pop down. We still can present ourselves, whether you're a male or whether you're female. You know, we got to keep looking good, keeping our spirits up. And then we have Ziana, and Ziana's into crochet. And Pearson, even at that flyer that you put up just now, I mean, she has some fantastic creations that she's made out of crochet, and she really loves her creations that she does for infants and children. And you know, she can make just about anything. If your imagination can think of it, she can create it. And so tomorrow we're going to take time to hear their stories, to hear their journeys. And there are many young people there who have an idea and you're not quite sure how to do it. Other persons would be interested in it. This is a great opportunity for you to come out and hear these 2 young people talking about their experiences. I guarantee you it's going to be exciting and fantastic. Because you know, Pearson, no two businesses are like, and we've taken the time and made the effort to identify variety of entrepreneurs throughout St. James that we can share and they can share their experiences with us.
That's fantastic. I'm so proud of it indeed. So then on
Yes,
Thursday,
you want me to continue with Thursday?
yes, yes.
I have a little friend.
Who's that little head right there? Yeah, whose little head is this?
So this little head that has just popped in, this is Adriana. So she came from somewhere and then she's here now with me.
Oh, lovely,
But
lovely.
again, I have another young head that just popped in. Oh my gosh. So let me continue, Pearson, because I know
Yes,
our
yes.
time is limited.
Thursday.
And so
What's up? You can hold her into your lap. That's okay. So Thursday.
okay. So on Thursday, can you see her now? I don't
Yes,
think you
yes,
can.
barely,
Can
but
you?
that's all right. That's all right. You go ahead with Thursday. We got her.
So on Thursday, now, Pearson, we talked about entrepreneurship and we're focusing on entrepreneurs of all ages. But in St. James, Pearson, you know we have a love for the youth.
Mhm.
And you know we have our Junior Ambassadors program, and we
Yes.
believe that anything we're going to do, that we need to start with our young people. We need to inculcate them from early on the concepts that we want them to grow into. So if we're talking about community tourism, we're talking about volunteering, and of course we're talking about entrepreneurship. So guess what? We have a series that we have designed just for our youth. And this is our youth entrepreneurial scheme. Because when you start to think about an entrepreneur, you don't wait till you actually start the business.
Mhm.
But it starts before that. It's our thinking and our mindset. You know, are you going to be having the mindset that you're going to be working for someone else for the rest of your life? Or do you want to do your own thing? Make fun of, and person you might remember, I remember as a young person, but he studied the road selling mangoes and different little
Yes,
things,
of
you know?
course.
And these are entrepreneurial efforts. And we didn't recognize them as that, but we want to change that mindset. So if our young people like to bake, we want to say to them, you can convert this into a business. These ideas can work. We talked about, you know, when granny gives you that $25, don't go and spend all. Keep some, you know,
Mhm,
start to
mhm.
save and invest for the dreams that you want. And so on Thursday, we have the Barbados Public Workers Credit Union, and they're going to be sharing with our youth in particular on the topic of being financially empowered. How
Right.
do you use those dollars and cents that you have? How do you use what you have to make good money decisions? And so for this session, we're inviting all young people, we're inviting teenagers, parents ask permission to also be able to attend,
Mhm.
entrepreneurs who are already in business, we're inviting you to attend as well. Let's hear how we can actually strengthen the concept of entrepreneurship. And this is so important as we look at our economy as a nation,
Right.
because we need to look at new ideas, innovation. How do we get that idea to market? So let's get that into our young people now so
You're
that
quite
they
right.
can build. We have other opportunities, other agencies that already exist that they will be able to tap into, that can help them develop the ideas. But you know what, Pearson? We first have to get them to understand that the idea has value and we
You're
can
right.
invest in our own businesses.
You're right.
So we're
You
going to
know-
be focusing on that.
on
Yes,
Thursday.
Pearson.
No, Rhonda, I'm going to zip
On
through
Thursday.
because time is really up against me now. So tomorrow, on Friday, you're having the business showcase again. DJ Smalley will be in the house, and then on Saturday, this is business spotlight at Lucas Shop. Where's Lucas Shop,
Yes.
by the way?
So that's in Western St. James. And so
Okay.
we're going to have Faye Lucas. And it's really great because now we get to hear from a seasoned business owner. How do you do it? And how do you survive?
Right.
You know, how is your success been?
Well,
And
this
so
is
it
great.
continues on and on. And as I said, Person, it's for the entire month. So if
Mhm.
you're interested in being a part of any of our activities, particularly Parish Color Day, which is going to be on the last Friday of the month, we want everybody to dress in their blue to come out and support us. Our
Right.
series online continues. And if you want to hear more about it, just come on to our Facebook page, which is St. James Parish Ambassadors. Also, you can check us out on IG, which is St. James PIC. And then also, if you want to drop us a line, you are an entrepreneur in St. James and you want to be a part of this showcase, which is happening at the end of the month, then send us an email at stjamespic@gmail.com. We've got a lot happening, Pearson. I know
Indeed.
our time is running out, but we've got a lot, and I want everybody to check out our pages, support our young people, support our entrepreneurs, because that's how we're going to make it throughout this pandemic.
Amen. Well said, Rhonda Bryan Hudson. As always, very passionate about everything. So go onto those social pages, everyone, and you can see how you can join every day's session, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you get to learn a whole lot more, because a lot of it is going to be done virtually, but we want all of you to engage with it as well. Rhonda Bryan Hudson, the project chair for St. James Parish Independence Committee, thank you so much, and best of luck, Rhonda, with all of this, and take care of those two little sweets. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Pearson.
Take care now. Bye-bye. We're taking a break right here. When we come back, Agent Sharita is going to be in the house.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Is a cost to selling, and people often forget that I can sell this house and then move into that house. When you sell, you have to allocate about 11.5% in closing fees, let's say, around 5% plus VAT for real estate fees, about 2.5% for property transfer taxes, 1% stamp duty. Legal fees are about 1 to 3% on a sliding scale. So immediately you're out some money. So don't assume that you're selling your $500,000 house and you have $500,000 to play with. You need to work out the net cost that you're getting in your hand, the net price, and then you know what you have going for you. So that's number two. Remember, there's the cost to selling, and even things like fixing up the house, you know, so the curb appeal is sexy, so that inside looks decent and not like a clutter fest. There is a cost attached.
You know, you wiped the smile off my face completely when you said all of that. And I'm sure for a lot of people, you know, they haven't given full consideration to that, because you look at the value and you figure, I'm going to get that in return. But there's some other costs that have to be chipped away because there are expenses to be paid in that simple transaction alone. And so to be mindful of that as well, that's a good tip. What's the third one?
Number 3, 2 years ago in the UK, there was a study which deemed that moving is actually the most stressful thing you will do in your life. I have moved in the past and oh my goodness, I nearly needed counseling afterwards. It is painful. I mean, think about it, especially those who have got to 70 years of age, 80 years of age. Can you imagine the clutter?
Yes.
Can you imagine all the documents you have to go through and sifting through stuff, which goes to the Salvation Army, what do we sell? It is painful. And the physical act of moving house, compressing 75 years into the back of a flatbed truck, that can't be easy.
You're very right. You are so very right. And you know, one never stops to think of it until one has to, let's say you're doing a general cleaning of your house and you realize, wait, I had all of this? All of this? Do I really need all of this? And so in packing up your memories, then you're saddled with all that you now have to move with. And there's a cost to that as well, but there's also that emotional cost that you have to bear because you've got to make a decision. They're downsizing, so the space you're moving into is now going to be smaller, so you can't take everything.
Correct. And number 4, the wrong layout. People often think, I found the house of my dreams. Your knees are about to start creaking, okay? Things are about to happen to your body that you didn't feel when you were 40 years old. You need to be thinking about that stuff.
Yes.
Don't go bunging for the 2-story house when you know that you have serious joint pain. I recall once a lady looking for a property, and as I got to talk to her a little bit more, I remember she then confessed that, she has some knee pain and it hurts to get upstairs. So why are we looking at this 2-story house? I recommend sticking to perhaps 1-story, a bungalow. For the sake of mobility issues, keep your eyes on things like the doorways. Make sure they're wide. You never know if you may need to have, wheelchair accessibility at some point in time. And even things like knobs, replace those with handles. A lot easier on your wrist if you're starting to get some arthritic issues. So all those things you have to think about. The wrong layout is one sometimes which people do not consider. You want a free flow of a house, not too choppy, so you can walk around with ease.
You're quite right. I smiled because I remember making a move myself and then having to make it a consideration because it was a 2-story and I thought, up there would be so breezy. I love to be cool all the time. And then I was calmly reminded, Pearson, the knees, who's going to carry the fridge, the stove, who's going to lift that bed up and down those stairs? Not you. So I'd suggest you take the lower level and, that was it. And so you're right. It's a consideration one has to have when you're deciding on which levels you'll be occupying and which kinds of house you'll be purchasing as you downsize as well. So good tip. I love it. And the next one.
Number 5, upsizing with caution. Now, here's the deal. Because you have got into your senior years, there's no rule that you have to downsize. You might decide, look, I have made all this money in my lifetime. It is now time to treat myself. Okay, that's fine. But when you take the money from under your pillow and you go and buy your $700,000 dream house with your waterfall and your pool and your 1 acre of lawn, there's something called maintenance. That's going to be coming at you every single month. So, you might be able to do the initial outlay because you had a little landfall when it came to money, but then what about maintaining that property? What about a $6,000 land tax bill that will hit you every year and an $8,000 insurance bill? Were you really ready for that? So you need to think about upsizing in terms of that. Before I go, I'll say this. Very recently, I met a lady who 75 or thereabouts decides that she wanted to build a house. Building a house at any age is challenging, but she wanted to build a house. And guess what? Where the house was located, she put out so much money in just creating the road, the access road to get to the house. that I don't think she was able to get to Rimbey. And now she has to sell a plot of land to try to get the cash to finish the house. You don't want that in your golden years.
Yes.
So all those things you have to take into consideration when wanting to transition.
I am telling you, this is a lot, but it's an interesting lot. It's a very important, critical lot as well. So very quickly, let's see. We say be sensible when downsizing. Consider, you know, don't think location alone. Look at where you're going as well, because there's an additional cost that would come to that. And that cost of selling as well brings additional expenses as well. So you're not necessarily going to get the full value of what you thought you were going to get, because there are costs you have to meet. Remember the hassle of moving. Packing up ain't easy. Unpacking ain't easy either. There's a hassle. And in your retirement years, do you want that kind of a hassle? Is there an easier way to do so? And just be mindful of the layout, whether it's 2-story, 1-story, and even the space that you're occupying as well, ease of movement, and of course the final budget if you're going to consider to rebuild as well. So there's a lot to consider, but there's help your way in Agent Sharita. 233-8888, 233-8888, or Barbados Real Estate 246 on social. Barbados Real Estate 246, 233-8888. Agent Sharita, as always, thank you. We look forward to seeing you, should God spare life, next Tuesday. All right.
Yes, take care.
Likewise. We're coming back with Thornwood and a whole lot more after this break. Morning Barbados Fitness, it is indeed. You know, we were just all talking here with Mr. Califit 246. It's okay to get a little wild sometimes. Good morning to you, Thorn.
Good morning, good morning. You know the lyrics well.
What?
So you know the lyrics
because
well.
I love the song. I love the song.
Thank you, guys. Let me just plug this real quick. My song is out on YouTube, all available platforms. Look for Wild by Clay Woods. You'll love it. Good. All right. So on this morning, we can deal with the question first, as per usual.
Sure.
Somebody asked me, how much protein should I be taking? Now that's relative. It can get very sport specific. The amount of protein a bodybuilder is going to be taking is not the same amount of protein like, let's say,
Pearson would take.
Pearson would take.
Use me.
Generally, you will see something that says about 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, generally across the board. You can find that. And then anything outside of that, I guess, very specific, then your trainer should be able to take care of that, or you can give us a call.
Yes, of course.
245-3712.
For that discussion on your nutrition.
And we have that discussion, but like I said, it can get very specific, but just generally across the board, 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. And then you can't, there are different ways to go about it in terms of like doing a lean muscle mass calculation, and that gets very complicated, and I don't want to confuse you guys. So at bare minimum, 1 gram per kilogram.
1 gram per kilogram. Know your weight.
Know your
so
weight.
You have a sense of what you're working with.
Exactly.
And then don't overeat your 1 gram. And
correct.
then are you also going to say to me, be selective in this protein I'm going to be eating as well?
I used to be like that. I've had the thing about different whey proteins is that you generally it's kind of like looking with your eyes closed. And that's funny because we're going to be talking about that later on.
Okay.
You're generally not going to know what works for you until you test it. You know what I mean? I've used different whey proteins. Some have worked better than others. Some have given me more results. So like, for instance, my girlfriend has taken one that make her bloated and the other did not. So it's kind of like a trial and error. Right now I'm on a vegan protein. I'm not vegan.
Right.
However, this one works good for me. It has a lot of nutrients, branched chain amino acids and stuff like that, and I really enjoy it and how it helps me to perform.
Okay, great. I love the sound of the rain on the roof. You gotta forgive me for a second. Just distracted. So what are we doing today,
Today
Mr.
we're
Thorne?
talking about this fancy word.
My aunt is watching, so don't hurt me today here.
Good, because auntie can get involved. We're talking about proprioception. That's just a fancy word for awareness.
Okay.
Right? So this is a super simple exercise that you can do. You can be young as 4, you can be old as 80. This will just generally help you with your balance and your overall awareness with your body. So all you need is your body.
Right.
So what Pearson is going to do,
I'm always the guinea pig.
Closer,
Okay.
right? You're going to spread your feet just outside of shoulder width. So this gives you a wider base, so essentially you get more balance. What I want you to do for for me is to stand on your tippy toes. Just go up on your tiptoes.
Tiptoe.
All right.
For as long as I can?
As long as you can. Good. Super easy.
Yeah.
All right. So where proprioception comes in is that you have to do it with your eyes closed.
Oh boy.
All right. So we're as human beings, we're very reliant on our eyesight. That's why our eyes are in front of our head, so we can see wherever we're going. So the difference, the spatial awareness, the challenge comes when your eyes are closed. So close your eyes.
So it's going to be a mental thing here.
It's going to be a mental thing. So you have to engage that awareness in your body. Yes. Focus. Widen your stance a little bit more.
Okay. Yes, my shoulders are a little bit broader. Right?
The closer your feet are, the harder it is because the base gets smaller and smaller.
I got you. Let me imagine where Big Brown is and focus on Big Brown.
Bigger. Up high. Yeah, so you're going to feel like a slight wobbling. You see he's leaning forward slightly. Come, you got to get
on your toes. Let me do it again.
Yeah, there you go. He's wobbling a little bit. Good. All right. So what we're going to do now? Oh, sorry. We're going to do the same place. Eyes closed.
His eyes are closed. Wobble, man.
Yeah, you're gonna wobble. You're gonna wobble. So it's kind of like trying to find that sweet spot, using your toes and maintaining that level of balance. Now, what we can do now, Pearson,
What does that do?
It helps to increase your awareness and helps with increasing your balance.
Okay.
So as you get older, balance is one of the first things to go as you get older. You're more prone to falls and stuff like that. So how do we increase that without having to put your body under too much strain? Super simple exercise.
Right.
As toddlers, when you're now growing, you're learning, you're feeling out, you're learning to walk. This is a great exercise for them and for coordination and stuff like that. All right, so bring your feet closer together, Pearson.
Right.
All right. Your toes gonna be touching.
Oh, does we let yours touch?
No, you're about to turn it in.
Okay.
Just made it bring as close as possible.
Okay.
And up. There you go.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I got
this is easy. Close the eyes, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry, your feet down. Close your eyes and then go up.
Okay. Eyes closed, feet together.
And then up. There you go. So it's a little harder now.
Yes, it is.
Less of a base, because the wider your feet are, the more base you have, closer they are, the harder it is.
How am I? No.
You're top. Right, good. So same thing, feet together, super simple exercise. Close your eyes, go on your tippy toes.
Don't fall over.
Try not to fall over. Yeah, establish our balance. Don't scare you. Right, so we're going to try this now with a squat. Right?
Okay, do your thing.
Eyes closed. You got to do it together. You just got to squat, war squat. Eyes closed. Maintain good form. Keep your head and your spine neutral. So you're going to go down. You guys know how we squat. Maintain a 90 degree and up. So eyes closed. Down. 2 and up. And 3. Good. Now, this is a little more advanced. You can do like a pistol squat with this one.
I don't know what that is.
That's a single leg squat. So you're going to go down and up.
Well done.
You all right? Single leg.
You know my vertigo. That's
right.
That's
so you try with eyes open first. Eyes open first. You don't have to. If you can go all the way down to the floor, go as deep as you can, and then back up.
Let's go.
Right. You go down, down, Pearson, down, up. Good. Right. Now, y'all know what we've been doing the entire morning. You gotta try it with your eyes closed.
Okay, let's do that again.
All right. I gotta watch you to make sure. I gotta spot you to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
Eyes closed. Eyes closed.
Eyes closed.
Feel the balance. Lift off. Wait. Stop. Establish the balance first. Lift off your leg first. Good. This is where it gets tricky.
No, I'm not gonna crash on TV. I'm not gonna crash on TV.
So eyes are closed.
You do it.
All right. Try to establish the balance. Go down. Go down.
Sorry.
Go down. Let me try this front. Let's try this front.
This is funny. This is funny.
It's a lot easier with your shoes.
That's my fault.
It's a lot easier with your shoes off because then you can spread your feet. Usually
your
when
toes
I do
will grip
exercise, I
better.
spread my toes on the floor with my feet. So I can feel more the balance, feel more
We
the
got
floor.
seconds.
We got seconds.
I'm showing you the time.
So you can feel the area and build that awareness. So that's a super simple exercise
like
that you
it.
guys can do to build balance. It's a lot of fun. You can do it with your friends, do it with your kids.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can be as young as 4 or as old as 80 to do this exercise.
Seems good. It seems good. Don't forget, folks, if you have questions, califit246@gmail.com, califit246@gmail.com, califit246@gmail.com.
Califit246 on Facebook
Right.
and Instagram. We have something brilliant in store for you guys. Person don't even know what it is that we're doing yet. Look forward to it in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. I'll go on vacation. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, should it be God's will. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.